Hello, my name is Mars, and welcome back to Saltsea Chronicles. It's been a little while since I last played, but I jogged my memory. We have just gone into the storehouse where we are going to steal back whatever it is that the farmers need in exchange for the sabla. This eye is blinking out at me more than the others, so let's look. A great pile of pre-flood tech scraps, not hoarded, but kept below out of fear of what came before. A large metal box leaks an acrid, stinking fluid into the floor of the warehouse. The porthole gives access to the depths of the float. The smell down the chute is not enticing, to put it politely. I love their little idle animations. That's really nice, actually. They're more 3D than I thought they were. Molpe pokes the worn, drooping tubing. It gurgles ominously. Ade gurgles in reply and succeeds in sounding even more ominous. Oh, Ade, I've missed you. I've missed the baby. Tech care. The sun creeps through the cracks in the trapdoor. Molpe trips over some rubber cords, then rights herself. Can you believe this mess? Neshko carefully examines a pile of heavy plastic rectangles. Each one has a dark pane of cracked glass. It's very well preserved for pre-flood tech, but it carries all the evils of that time. Evil? Really? It's just stuff. They keep it locked away for fear of the path that could lead us down. Ede coughs. The room is coated with dust. But is the fear itself the dangerous path? Good question, Neshko. Neither of these two seem like the kind who like to dwell in the past very much, or at the very least, they're both kind of burying it. So let's talk about the artifacts. Neshko studies a round and shiny disc, a circle of strange markings in its center. All the stories these items must carry. Ade reaches for the disc as it reflects a rainbow of light. Lost to us now. Molpe shrugs and continues to rummage. Wait, what's this? She pulls out an intact ancient astrolabe from a stack of metal vases. I think we've read this already, about the astrolabe. Impressive, but why would it be here? Navigation is nothing to fear. So here, this seems like an important choice, whether to take the astrolabe with us or leave it be. It's pre-flood tech. I don't think that pre-flood tech is like cursed or anything. But then again, we don't know exactly what the flood was and what caused it. I don't think that Molpe would necessarily be scared of using the astrolabe. Since she's our navigator, her opinion is most important. But I would also take into account the fact that Maya, whatever happened to Maya, seems to have something to do with her poking into engine design and other pre-flood tech like that. So I think at this point, there's merit to caution. So I'm going to leave it be. Good question. They'll have had a reason for hiding it. Best not bring more trouble on our heads than we already will. Molpe puts the astrolabe back. Ade nods. A wise decision. How much does Ade understand? They don't talk. And, everyone talks about them like they've known them for a while, so I feel like they would be a year old at least. I don't know how much they actually understand. The Pinroot elixir, that's right. This is the stuff that can raise the dead or whatever. Free of charge. The door to a large and inviting cupboard is obstructed by boxes at the back of the room. Neshko begins to move them, while Molpe waits back to play with Ade. That Hiromi, you think we should be helping him? He's definitely suspicious. The gardens were uncanny. Right, and set apart from the float. If you're going to live somewhere, you need to get along with them. Neshko frowns. Like Maya. He wedges a bar into the cupboard doors and starts to push. Good point. The cupboard bursts open. Let's be excited a little bit. Molpe seems to have been energized by being back on the float, and... I don't know about Neshko, but he doesn't seem to let a lot bother him. There! He lays the bar carefully on the ground. There's a bright golden-hued bottle on the shelf with a skull and crossbones. Great. It's here if we're taking it. Doesn't have to be our business. Molpe takes the bottle and turns it over in her hands. It somehow weighs less than even empty glass would. And yet we've made it, so... Molpe shrugs. Let's get this to Seiko. Merle needs help. Ade makes a snuffle that sounds like the beginning of a cry. He may not be the only one. Molpe and Neshko get to know each other. Yay! The sun beams down from its highest point. Alright, nothing else to look at in here. Are people going to be angry waiting for us outside the storeroom now? Nah. Guard doesn't seem to be back from his reading. And there's nothing else to look at over here. Okay. What did we get? The elixir. Makes sense. Why is there nothing to look at? I feel like there would be more. My old papa told me he tried to sail into the fault, and it spat him right back. There's a collective gasp and smattering of applause as a long-bearded card player lays down a winner. Tempting offers. Senya waves Molpe over. Sure, we can't tempt you to stay, Molpe. Dangerous waters out there. Hard winds blowing from the Ensolo Fault these days, so I've heard. They're the dangerous waters north and east of the Saltsea archipelago, which no ship has ever survived. Probably. I'll make space on my boat, for you in this gorgeous wee bundle. Senya pulls a gruesome face at Ade, who merrily returns the favor. We gotta look for Maya. Molpe shakes her head firmly. Not while Maya needs me. Senya sighs. You're a good one, Molpe. I hope Maya deserves you. Ade reaches their arms out to Senya. And I hope she deserves this one, too. Well, there's a home here when you need it. How are you? The float seems so communal, I feel like asking about the float would be asking how Senya is. Where's the float headed next? North, Yaluka way. That's what we decided last thing, anyway. Who knows what we'll decide next week. Don't you get tired of it? Let me know when you find a better way of doing things. Besides, I'm too old to move on now. I doubt that. You strike me as someone with tremendous strength. Senya smiles. Charmer, but I found what works for me. She lays a hand on Molpe's arm. I hope you find it too. Molpe looks down at Ade. I'm on my way. Oh. The sun, now high in the air, beats down on the float, giving rise to stronger scents and sweatier brows. I swear to God that lizard is a different color every time we see it. Annette catches Molpe's eyes and looks away, offering her sad expression to the horizon. Two traders argue by a rickety stall. And half of them were sour. Bilge, my sea apples are the finest in the islands. You're trying to short trade me. Short trade? Short trade? My fruits are... You're a twisted... Neshko steps between the two traders, palms together. Friends, friends, the fair is watching. Surely we can resolve this? Neshko takes in a deep, slow breath. The traders watch, momentarily confused. You both feel you did not benefit from the trade? And what better truth of injury is there than feeling it? I've never short-traded anyone in my life. My sea apples are the best around. No doubt, all true, and yet the injury persists. The traders frown, both lost for words. So you both came away the worse from the exchange. And though it may have been equally so, you are dissatisfied. Put it in your wake, make a new deal. A good trade mends a bad. Ade gurgles. It sounds almost like a growl. The two traders deflate, nod, and begin negotiating a new trade, quietly. A peripero with a magnificent ruff surveys passers-by with a haughty gaze. That's the lizard. Again. Yalucan silk, Alcazar tapestries, mint and veer cloth, every fabric for any need. Maybe you can get an even better sling here, Molpe. Alright, we're here at the gardens. Fresh, flourishing, and full of life, the shipboard forest is a feast of botanical excellence. Just for a while, Neshko reaches up to touch a broad leaf. A strange place, but restful, no? He turns to Molpe, smiling. Shall we sit for a while? She can't, but wishes she could. She shakes her head. I know I need to rest. I know we all do, but... Ade coos softly, trying to offer comfort. Every moment that passes. What if something's happened to her? Neshko twists the end of his beard. You're doing all you can. As are we all. Ade looks at Neshko and offers a gummy smile. Molpe examines a leaf between her fingers. Then why doesn't it feel that way? Oh, it's solved. She feels more comfortable with Neshko. I'm sure we didn't do anything special there. We were just very thorough and took all the opportunities we could there. Molpe has grown used to Neshko's presence and feels more comfortable around him. Yeah, that seems like something that we just fixed by, taking all the paths we possibly could for them to interact. Thoroughness is good in this game, I think. A secret shared. Seiko is pruning a large purple shrub. Well, you've got your elixir. Seiko folds her arms. I see. Seiko opens the hatch into the undergrowth. A ladder leads down into the hold. Follow me. Misunderstanding. Hiromi holds up my pet over a petri dish of moss. You have visitors, Hiromi. He squeezes the pipette hard in surprise. The moss swells, then with a sudden poof, shrinks to half its size. He's like a mad plant scientist, I guess. When have we ever taken visitors? He doesn't seem like the type who can be charmed. Molpe, be direct. Molpe pulls out the pinroot elixir from Ade's sling. Ade reaches for it with a wail. For you. I believe there you had a misunderstanding with the traders. He holds Molpe's gaze. Molpe hands Hiromi the elixir. Yes, a misunderstanding, certainly. He quickly examines the bottle, smiles briefly, and puts it in a drawer. Seiko said. Hiromi frowns and turns to Seiko. After Mezcol, we should be careful. On seeing the name, Hiromi's gaze is drawn to a portrait in the corner of the room. Molpe nudges Neshko. We should take a look at that. I promised them sabla in return. We can spare it. Oh, very well. Seto takes a small round container out of her pocket and hands it to Molpe. Thank you. Our crewmate will be grateful for this. Miss Cole, perhaps there's more to learn here. The room is almost silent, but for a low, heavy pulse, as if the plants were breathing. A set of small containers is filled with soil and growing seedlings. A tiny label reads, Extinct Varieties. Oh, I should drink some tea. I was feeling pretty good at the start of this episode, but then I started doing man voices, and now my throat is dry. Living dead. The cool air in the laboratory clings to the skin. Ade snuffles. Is this an actual, secret lab? Seems so. He points to a bin full of leathery masks. They're all made from fibrous plants. Neshko reaches for one of the ghastly masks. Don't! Leave it be. He leans into a cluster of stems that have been woven tightly together, almost like a muscle. Neshko's eyes are wide. Are these parts of some greater whole? Ade coughs, afraid. Molpe reaches back and gives them her finger to hold. Are they making like a plant person? Are they Frankensteining together a plant person? That's what they need the stuff that can raise the dead for. Oh God. No, we're imagining things. And yet. No, it's been a hard day. Mind plays tricks on you. Neshko nods, but not in agreement. The masks bob on their stems. Where are these masks? Are they here? Yeah, that looks like a person. This plant looks like a person. And these are the masks? Oh my God, something fishy as heck is going on here. In the shadows, beakers of colored liquids, a cauldron puffing smoke, plant tendrils frothing red foam. Definite creepy secret lab territory. Ade waves their hands, putting patterns through the smoke. Molpe, contain your child. I'm sure this stuff is not safe for them to breathe in. The smoke wafting from the cauldron suddenly thickens and turns blue. Molpe pulls back, keeping Ade away. What's happening? Is it safe? Hiromi strides over and carefully pours in a phosphorescent liquid. The smoke evaporates. An old experiment. Perfectly safe, though, I mean, to their faces we've been open about it. Of course I'm suspicious, but let's just ask. Hiromi pushes the cauldron into a cabinet with gloved hands. He locks it and turns to them. Not fertilizer, then? Perhaps a fuel? Hiromi inclines his head. My previous assistant was exploring plant-based fuels for lamps. Fascinating. Never finished the project, I'm sad to say. How so? Hiromi turns away. It is a private matter. Okay. They died, didn't they? Silent dreams. A portrait hides behind a large wavy-leaved plant. There are 3 of you? A cloud crosses Seiko's face. The assistant who didn't get to finish their project, maybe, is the 3rd person. There were 3 of us. You seem distressed. A loss. Ade hums in sympathy from their sling. Seiko shakes her head. A loss, yes, but not as you're imagining. That's Mezcol, Hiromi's other assistant. He left, and he... Seiko swallows. he stole from us. Molpe blinks. Do you have any idea why? She has a thought. Or how? Seiko looks at the portrait, drumming her fingers together. He had become secretive of late, hiding notes, stealing away to send radio communications. There was trouble with the traders, you know. And he took some of our most valuable supplies necessary for... She glances over at Hiromi. Never mind. I'm sorry to hear it. These deeds, they... He is struggling for words. You must be in pain. Seiko wrings her hands, still looking at Hiromi. They say he left in the night aboard a silent ship, whatever that means. A ship with deep indigo sails. Oh. Seesaw was mentioned too. The ship that took Maya. But... Thank you, Seiko. Seiko looks back and forth from the picture to Hiromi, wringing her hands. Okay. So my guess is we're going to Seesaw next. Alright. We can sail. Let's real quickly check what can be checked, though. Nothing. Alright. Yeah, we got the sabla. Okay. Okay. Seems there's... Unless there's something to do in the chandlery. Nah. I guess it's time to sail. That felt much quicker than Chapter 1, I would say. Ready to return? Yes. It's time to tell the crew what was learned here. Let's do our issue resolved first. Getting to know you. Molpe has decided to clear the air. Hey. Neshko looks up, alarmed. Oh, yes? Nothing fancy, don't worry. Just wanted to say thanks. For the company, you were good down there. Neshko's eyebrows raise. He doesn't know Molpe well, but already gathers her praise as hard-won. I appreciate that. A pause. I want to help Maya. I really do. Molpe puts a hand on his shoulder. Then that's enough for me. He watches her go. Aw. Oh, there's another issue resolved? Oh, this resolved too? Okay, I didn't realize. Merle noticed Iris was unhappy and apologized for his behavior. Narfi appreciation. Merle beckons Iris over. I don't know when I resolved this, but okay, I'll take it. I just wanted a quick word. Okay. No need to look so guilty. You would think you were plotting something. Is that it? The word you wanted? Merle takes on a solemn look. I just wanted to say, I think that I have started to document our travels. Sure. I find it very helpful, a means of recollection, rumination, and reflection. And of course, you never know who might read our chronicles in the future. So long as you don't become the next Peeble Von Dre. Merle chuckles. As you say. No, but after some consideration, I wanted to take the opportunity to apologize. About how I spoke to you about Nyarfi, your culture. Iris looks a little surprised. It really is a wonderful accomplishment to have built a thriving community in such challenging conditions. I'm afraid that it's my own insufficiencies that cause me to be, short with it. He taps his chest. Oh, well, I guess if I was allergic to birds, I'd hate it there too. I mean, it's not like I love it there anyway.
Hmm.
No, but it is your home, and the home of others whom you love. More tea. Okay. Iris nods.
Hmm.
Okay, thanks, I guess. Although I don't know how much any of them will love me now.
Hmm.
Nonsense. It was necessary for us to, borrow Dick Helpy. And, well, if they do anything other than welcome you back on open wing, they'd be fools.
Mm-hmm.
Iris doesn't know what to say. Ahem, that's all. Merle smiles awkwardly as Iris moves back to the radio. I wasn't very enthusiastic as Iris there. I don't know. I think that they're an awkward person and don't know how to accept apologies and compliments and whatnot, but, you know. The issue is resolved either way. Tekelpi looks fresh out of dry dock. The crew who stayed behind have done an exemplary job. They're ready to set sail again. Nice. Alright. Alright, Sabla first. Oh, look, there's Ade out of their sling. Mer clutches his arm, trying not to let on how sore it is. Stu is steaming the sabla while juggling Ade. Don't worry, kitten. The sabla will be ready soon. We'll get it all stitched up like new. And sabla numbs as well as cleans, did you know? Not long now. Ade burbles, trying to catch the curlicues of steam as they rise around the galley. Merle leans back and closes his eyes. He knows Stu is just trying to distract him. Be grateful, Merle. Thank you. Stu nods, bouncing Ade as she works. Whatever makes them happy. Ade waves the pink spoon around happily, drumming it repeatedly against the back of Stu's head. Ade, love, I'm trying to steam some sabla for Merle. Merle looks over. It appears drumming is much more important than steaming. Ade, kitten. They are mesmerized. They are delighted. They are drumming. Is it at least a reprieve from the screaming? The spoon is a success. Oh, good. Preparations. Neshko climbs back on deck, panting slightly and running through his checklist. Rudder feed. Rudder freed. Mast trued. Rip sewn. That's it, right? A coil of rope thunks down onto the deck in front of him. Anchor. Take a moment, Neshko, you deserve it. He pauses for a moment, catching his breath. A pair of Nyars alight on the rail in front of him. They watch him for a moment, cooing. Hello, friends. I hope Aaron didn't send you. The Nyars take flight. Hope they appreciate this. Tekelpi's mask creaks lightly. Don't you start. He sighs and gets back to work. Neshko is settling in. Okay, so this is him getting on with the rest of the crew then? Not just Molpe? A bad dream. Molpe sits silently, her head in her hands. Ugh, Maya. Iris looks over, concerned. Molpe? Did you find out something, bad? Molpe has been keeping a tight hold on her feelings, but her grip is loosening. What did we learn about Maya? Let me just check. That's Sabla. Annette shared an upsetting vision about Maya. Okay, so fear then. Fear is what we should be thinking about. I hope it's not true. I wish I never heard it. I wish I could undo hearing it. But now it's all I can think about. Iris frowns. What? What did you find out? Molpe shakes her head. Best to tell everyone together. This is not reassuring. Oh. News from nowhere. Iris lies in the hammock and looks towards the float. watching the traders' boats rising and falling on the gentle waves. They looked down at the sieve Molpe and Neshko brought back for use as an aerial. They meant well, but come on. Maybe I missed out. Should have pushed myself. Okay, so if Iris went onto the float, I'm sure they would have found something that actually works as an antenna. Okay, so that's something we missed out on. And now their radio doesn't work. A noisy argument echoes across the water. Or not. It's nice on board. Next time you'll be ready. You wanted this. A quiet sigh. Next time, maybe. Oh, I love Iris. They remind me of myself a lot. If I had to go to, especially a bustling marketplace, that kind of place, when I travel, it can be fun to like look at what people are selling, but the amount of people can be so overwhelming. So I understand why they didn't want to go out there. And I understand why they feel more comfortable on the ship. And that feeling of thinking like it's not okay that I stay on the ship. I need to be better and push myself next time. It's not necessarily true. Like, you have to do what makes you most comfortable. But I relate to it. Alright. New harbors. The bustling midday sounds of the float drift over on the salty breeze. Once you go, there's no return. Are you ready to leave? Yes. It's time to proceed. The journey continues. Molpe stares straight ahead, having shared her story. Merle, arms soothed by the sabla, pulls entertaining faces at Ade. But it was just some dream, right? This is talking about Annette. Molpe puts her head in her hands. The others don't know quite how to act. I don't believe it. Iris. Dreams are totally unpredictable. Are you the best, baby? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Sorry. The Kelpie's fixed up. Radio's still busted, but I'm working on it. Let's sail on. Seesaw. That's the place for what we need. We did hear that the Indigo-sailed ship was sailing for Seesaw. Iris looks triumphant. Rumor, mind. But if there's hope for Maya... Baby noises. Ade giggles in delight as Merle pulls outrageous faces. Just take your time, Molpe. They weren't there. It's like that kid at Annette's Kiddick. I wish I could forget, but I can't. The Grace is where people leave word of those who are lost, right? A good place to look for the missing. Iris bites their lip. Kiddick? Forget what? Ade gurgles at Iris. That child seemed very dispossessed. Yeah, what was it that she wanted to forget? Did she say specifically? I don't really remember. I do remember that Neshko seemed to know her. Or I might be remembering wrong. Neshko definitely seemed to know several people. And I think that girl was one of them. Child? Weren't they like my age? The Kelpie's radio spit static into the room. Benkov's Mezcol. Mezcol? Am I remembering that right? Yeah, that's the botanist. The radio said something about Mezcol. So wherever that signal came from could be the location of the Indigo ship. We did our best, but we are not in good repair. The devisers at Seesaw can help. If anyone has word of Maya, Seesaw! They have the best arrays around. We need a second to think. What if the Grace is what we need? We're in hot pursuit. We need a radio we can use. The unit we need to drive our array. Iris gestures to the handheld device strung across their shoulders. It's broken, even if I did have an aerial that was able to drive the signal further. And if she's beyond the reach of a radio? Silence. Stu turns to Merle. The spoon is now hanging off his ear for baby entertaining purposes. That's 2 for the Grace and 2 for Seesaw. What do you say, Merle? Merle looks up from Ade, a little flustered. What do I? Yes, I was listening carefully, and I have to say, to make a good decision, I require a little more information. What do we know of Seesaw, truly? It's so cool. They've got, like, this ship, but it's all backwards, stuck or something. All the ratters go there. They've got tech you wouldn't believe, which will enable us to send a message out. What I know of the Grace is very appealing. Where the guides study dreams, a place of retreat and learning. And other things. There's a garden, a sanctuary, and a place to mark sunken souls. People go from all over. I'm certain we'll find answers there. Merle clears his throat. I think the answer is clear. I mean, I'm thinking Seesaw. For Iris' sake, because there is a rumor that the Indigo ship was headed for Seesaw, because we heard word of Mescal over the radio, which doesn't necessarily mean that the signal is coming from Seesaw, but future playthrough, or maybe there'll be an opportunity to go through to the Grace later. I think that Seesaw is where we need to go. Effective communications must take priority. We should sail to Seesaw. Iris claps their hands excitedly. Radio Central, here we come! Merle fumbles a spoon and it falls to the floor. The ship fills with Ade's protest. I hope you're right.
Okay.
We're decided. Let's go. Alright, so... Ooh. Why do we get this again? I'm glad we're getting to see this for the sake of seeing it, because it got muddled by my bad graphics before, but I don't know why we're seeing it. Oh, it's very cute and nice to look at. Yes, that is the game we are playing, Saltsea Chronicles. Alright, Chapter 3, Seesaw. Still unsure as to whether their captain is in trouble, the crew seeks a means to understand more. The overturned vessel that forms Seesaw promises improved comms. Can they send word? Yes. Everyone's eating. Iris looks concerned. Iris slips under a trapdoor. Iris feeds somebody. Who is this? A stowaway. A friend of Iris's? Seesaw. Okay. Alright, well, now that we're here, I think it's a good place to stop. We will explore Seesaw next time. And also everything that's here to look at on the boat, of course. So, until then, I have been Mars, and I will be back with more Saltsea Chronicles.